Hello everybody and welcome back to LRN, the home of F1 fan opinion, where we react to all the latest news and rumours from the world of F1. And today is a big one. Today it's an update on the cost cap saga, which we've all of course been talking about and focused on over the last week or so. And today we have news coming out of media outlets, and I'll go through the quotes in just a second, basically saying that Adrien Newey is the reason that Red Bull have breached the cost cap. They felt that they had a way round the way the cost cap was measured, and to do that they basically listed Adrien Newey as a contractor rather than an employee, which removed his wages from the total spend and therefore and from their point of view, wouldn't have implicated him as part of their total budget spend. And essentially, they would have got all of Adrien Newey's input for free. And we are talking about someone who arguably is the biggest factor in why they have a title, why they had a Drivers' Championship winning car in 2021, and why, of course, they have a ridiculously good car this year. He has been heralded as the architect of both of these cars. And after, to be fair, taking a couple of years, stepping away a bit in the years previous, he is understood to have had significant impacts on this year's car and last year's car, most importantly. And when you consider that he, as a designer, and we all know how absolutely phenomenal Adrien Newey is at his job. He is the supremo designer in the world of Formula One, and to have him in your team, first of all, is amazing for Red Bull, of course. But then to basically try and make it so you get Adrien Newey for free when he is arguably your most valuable asset. Not, to be fair, the highest paid asset. I'm sure that there's supremos within Red Bull in terms of the hierarchy that do earn more than Adrien Newey does. But because of that, they've listed him as a contractor, and therefore they're trying to get the services of Adrien Newey for free, at least against what's registered in the cost cap. This has apparently been seen through by the FIA. They've incorporated Adrien Newey's costs into the total spend by Red Bull, and that has pushed them over the total cost cap. So just read an extract from a media outlet here. So they claim Auto, Motor and Sport, so a German outlet, claim that a major part of Red Bull and the FIA's disagreement boils down to salary. The top three earners in each team are excluded from the budget cap, but design guru Adrien Newey isn't thought to be one of them. So as we say, Adrien Newey wasn't thought to be one of the top three earners, so he would have been included in the cost cap. Supposedly, Red Bull employed him as a contractor so that his salary would not be included in their permitted £114 million spend, making room for other top engineers to help towards car improvements. As Chief Technical Officer, Newey's contribution to Red Bull's 2021 title-winning car is presumed to be significant. So really, really important there, first of all, to understand how significant he is to their title-winning cars now, of course, plural, because they've won the title this year. And therefore, how an attempt to get him for free, given his level of expertise and general respect within the world of Formula One, that he is the best at what he does, I think to try and cheat the system to get his services free of charge is absolutely crazy. And to try and get away with that, and to be fair, this could be why Christan Horner has been so persistent that they've stayed within the rules, because they felt that the way that they've gone about it to list him as a contractor is within the rules. It doesn't push up the amount, so their calculations with him as a contractor and therefore not included had them within the cost cap limit. And right, fair enough, if that's what they've tried to do, they've given it a go, they've been found out, and they've been found to breach the cost cap, because how can you not include your chief technical officer's salary in your total spend? Yeah, fair enough, if he's not one of the top three owners, you have to include him. Don't try and cheat the system, especially with someone, one, who earns clearly a significant amount, and two, someone who is clearly so involved and has such an impact on the performance of your car on the track, if not the biggest impact in what he does with the teams and his impact on the general design and direction that the Red Bull cars take. To not include him is a clear attempt to cheat the system. So morally, it's wrong. And from the FIA standpoint, factually, it's wrong. And thankfully, they found this, they've seen through it, they've stuck to their guns, and I hope so. Of course, we know Red Bull can appeal during this process, and if they feel that what they've done completely stands within the rules set out by the FIA, I'm sure this will end up in court, or however it ends up, once the full report has been issued, including the cost amounts and the reason for the overspend. But the understanding is that it's going to be around 1.7 to 2 million over the cap, and that largely makes up Adrien Newey's salary. So that is what they've actually overspent on. That's the rumours that are coming out at the moment. And to be fair, when you consider comments that again have resurfaced, and these are old comments, but they are very interesting comments from Christan Horner from the past. So let me just read you comments here from Christan Horner. The problem is, so much is made about the figure of the cost cap that I believe it is missing the point. F1 teams will always spend whatever budget they have available to them, plus an extra 10%. So really key there that Horner basically admitting that whatever the cost cap that comes their way, they are going to spend it, and they're going to spend more than it. Now, he may be right. Other teams may well be finding ways around the cost cap, and they may well have done it better, so that they weren't actually caught out the same way Red Bull are. Maybe that's just it. Maybe all the teams are up to this, and Red Bull are simply the ones that got caught. Maybe that's true. Of course, again, every team's gone through the same investigation process. So if they have gotten around it, it will be for different things. And it's really difficult to presume that that's the case. Of course, we can only go by the evidence and what we're told. And at the moment, of course, all we know is that Red Bull are the only team to have properly breached the cost cap. And when you look back at comments from Christan Horner saying, essentially admitting up front, they're going to spend more than the cost cap, they're going to spend 10% more, you then look that they're apparently roughly 2 million over. And that is largely down to Adrien Newey's salary, which is a clear attempt to cheat the system that they've been given. And again, I'm sure other teams will have thought of ways that they could get around the rules and regs that were given to them. So I'm not saying that Red Bull are the only team to ever do this by any stretch of the imagination. But again, we can only deal with the facts at hand. They have cheated the system, or at least attempted to, based on the information that we now have. Adrien Newey's salary makes up the bulk of what has gone over, again, according to the latest information, and that is going to be roughly $1.7 to $2 million over the given cost cap. And as I said, my view on this is simple. Adrien Newey is such an influential part of Red Bull. He is a massive reason as to why they have won the championship last season, the Drivers' Championship, and of course the Drivers' Championship this season, soon to be the Constructors as well. So how you can not include him in your total budget is absolutely beyond me, and I'm glad, if this is all true, that they've been caught out. Now, I'm sure, again, if they read the regulations and there's something about contracting in there and they feel they followed the rules, they will appeal it. This will keep going, and we will find out more information once the cost regulations and the report is published in full for us to read and go through and dissect. But the news that's coming out at the moment is that, of course, they breached the cost cap, but they've done so because of Adrien Newey's salary. So I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments below what you feel about this. Do you think Red Bull are right to, try, or do you think every team will have been working the system and that Red Bull, again, have just been caught out? Does this sort of make you more angry, given what they've tried to do? If you're a Red Bull fan, how do you feel about this, right? Because people get very defensive about the teams that they love, and I completely understand that. If you're a Red Bull fan, or Max Verstappen fan especially, please understand, we know that Max Verstappen isn't the one in the background making these decisions about what they're going to do around the cost cap, right? He doesn't deserve to be tarnished with the brush of what Red Bull have done, at least not from my perspective. Of course, if he is included in those conversations, that's different, but I can't see any reason that he would be. He'd have no reason to. His focus is on driving that car as fast as he can, and he's done a fantastic job of that. But if you are driving a car that is illegal, that is the fault of your team, and the blame for that should go to the team he drives for, and any repercussions that impact Max Verstappen directly, any anger you have should be directed at the team, at Red Bull, not the FIA, not Formula One, not other teams for moaning like Toto Wolff and Lewis Hamilton. It should be directed at Christan Horner, Red Bull, their hierarchy, because they're the ones that made the decisions that are going to cost Max Verstappen potentially, unlikely, but potentially his championship, although we do believe at this stage that won't happen. or any fine or any championship points or any future testing or whatever it is the FIA choose to do to Red Bull as a punishment for breaching the cost cap, Red Bull are to blame. Not other people for bringing attention to it, not people for leaking from the FIA. Red Bull are to blame for the decisions that they made, and whatever repercussions they face, the anger should be pointed towards them. That's my opinion. Again, if you're a Red Bull fan, if you're a Max Verstappen fan, let me know how you're feeling about all this in the comments. And if you're not, if you're just an F1 fan, if you support any of the other teams, of course, as well, get involved in the comments. I want to know what you're thinking. How does this make you feel? What do you think the punishment should be, given that we're getting a better understanding now of what the crime was? I want to know all your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, of course, we'll keep monitoring the situation. If we get any more updates, any more official statements, hopefully a release of the documentation for the FIA report, of course, we'll go up again with another reaction video to whatever the latest news is. So make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell icon to be notified of when any of those videos go live. Otherwise, I'm just going to thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day. Goodbye.